Entertainment Extra continues with movie critic Richard Crouse on NewsTalk 1010.
Hey, movie lovers and citizens of Earth, welcome to Extra, Entertainment Extra. I'm Richard Crouse. Terry Hart has toddled off back to TMN, but joining me in the studio, I am beyond excited to have Stedman Graham. He's an American educator, author, businessman, and speaker. He's the author of a dozen books, including 2 New York Times bestsellers, You Can Make It Happen, A 9-Step Plan for Success, and Teens Can Make It Happen, 9 Steps to Success. His latest release, Identity, Your Passport to Success, was on the Wall Street Journal's bestseller list. Graham has also launched an online course in partnership with the University of Phoenix based on the 9-step success process, which supports identity leadership development. Welcome.
Wow. Thank you so much, Richard. You've got a great voice.
Well, thank you.
Let me tell you.
Well, you have a great bio. I had to cut that down because you've been so active. And I'm curious how you begin a career. I want to talk about the second annual Toronto Black Film Festival in a second. You're here as part of that, as well as the identity. But how do you start as someone who is an inspirational speaker? As someone, you set yourself up as someone who will inspire very large. You affect a lot of people with your work. I guess the question is, when was the moment that you realized that you were that person, that you were able to do that?
Well, it's been a transformation through a journey, I should say, throughout the years of discovering who you are and being able to actually change who you are from one place to another, from one thought to another, from one segment of life to another, based on knowing how to take information and education, make it relevant to your skills, your talents, your abilities, what you love, your passion, then transfer it to your mind so you can think and connect purpose and mind together, and then transfer it to the world you live in so you can actually shape your future. It took me a long time to understand that. And I used to write about it and still didn't really understand the value of identity development,
right,
and the value of changing the way that you think and having the ability to do that, because most people are stuck in the box doing the same thing over and over every single day. So they're not engaged in their own development. They work and they get a job and they have careers, and that's fine, but they're never able to maximize their potential as a human being. And then the school was set up only to teach you how to memorize and take tests and repeat the information back, get labeled with a grade, and 2 weeks later you forget the information. So basically, if you're doing the same thing over and over every single day, which is nothing, every day, everything you learn, you forget is nothing. Nothing from nothing is nothing. So you have this whole person that has the ability to take their intellect, what the experience is, all of their talents and skills, and develop that to a higher level where they can now contribute more because they have more. And it took me a long time to really start to put that together. So now I really began to understand what that's called. That's called identity development. And now I'm working on becoming an authority on identity development to teach people how to find out who they are, and also to teach them how to become who they can be.
Was there an aha moment for you?
Lots of them.
Yeah.
Lots of them. I had defining moments when I was 13 or 14 years of age, when the store owner said, "You're nothing, never going to be anything." I had defining moments when I went to college to play ball, traveled around. It's been doing a lot of work in South Africa. So I have a lot of opportunities. Of course, my relationship with Oprah, I mean, that has helped me a lot in terms of defining my life and making me better. So the combination of all those things, my mother and father's impact, my community's impact, what I learned through working with charities, all of that is a combination of making me who I am. But to be able to put that together in a sustainable program where you can align all those things and to tie those things to your own passion and what you love and what you care about, and to be able to segment each part of your life and build value in each part of your life based on you controlling that, to me is the opportunity.
I'm not going to make this interview about Oprah in any way.
I got it.
But because you lead a public life in that, is it more difficult to define your identity, like a true identity? Anyone with a public life has a persona, has an identity that they give to the public. This is what you get to know about me.
You got it.
This much. But it's when the doors are closed and the lights are down that your true identity, I guess, has to shine through, or you have to figure out what it is. Is it more difficult because of the public life? Oprah is one of the most famous women in the world, if not the. You have been with her for a very long time. Your life is public. Has that presented challenges in terms of finding yourself?
Well, no question. And it would present challenges to young people that are born into families where they're very wealthy,
right,
and they have everything, and they don't have to work for anything, and there's no struggle there, and they get very comfortable. It's people are labeled by their race, and they have to get through that every single day if they're discriminated upon, or if they're not part of the dominant culture. People are labeled, by their gender. Women have to deal with that, and so, anytime you are put into the public eye, and you buy into it,
mm-hmm.
You're bought into the fact that that's who you are, and you have no control over your life. It's gonna use you up. It's gonna use you up and spit you out. And so the ability to be able to go backwards from that and say, you know what, that's not who I am. I have to define myself based on my attributes, based on what I love, based on my purpose in life, based on my mission, based on my talent, skills, and my strengths, and not focus on turning my power over to someone else who defines you and will always define you as less than them. What you have to do is you have to pull your power back constantly. So I have to struggle with that,
mm-hmm.
of making sure that I maintain a strong foundation based on who I am and not get confused with her persona, not get confused with who she is. And who she is fine, and I support that 150%. That has nothing to do with who I am. That's the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can do that, if you have the skills to do that, which is hard to do, because a lot of people get depressed.
Yes.
A lot of people need, other stimuli to make them feel like they're somebody without really being authentic and finding out what makes you tick and who you are. So if you can balance the two and you have the skills to be able to navigate all of that, and that's what's happening with the 21st century now, the market's moving this way, it's moving far ahead of us, and we don't know how to deal with it. So we have no control, and we go backwards. And so what happens is that we don't know who we are, and the world keeps moving forward, and we keep moving backwards. And so the process is the same.
My guest in studio is Stedman Graham. His latest book, Identity, Your Passport to Success, is our topic, and we'll be talking a little bit about that when we come back in the next segment. You're also here as part of the second annual Toronto Black Film Festival. And just as a side note, I wanted to point out that there's a screening in Toronto on Sunday night of a movie called Hard Time. I urge you to go see this movie. There's a Q&A afterwards with director Ron Harpel and the film's subject, Robert H. King, who spent 29 years in solitary confinement for a crime he did not commit. You don't want to miss that Q&A. When we come back, more with Stedman Graham on his book, Identity, Your Passport to Success.
It's Extra Entertainment from Entertainment Extra with Richard Crouse on In-Depth Radio, NewsTalk 1010.
Hey, movie lovers and citizens of Earth, welcome back to Extra Entertainment Extra. I'm Richard Crouse. Joining me in studio, we have Stedman Graham, author of Identity, Your Passport to Success. It's a New York Times bestseller.
Oh, yeah. I'm so proud of that, and I'm so proud of the work.
Mm-hmm.
I try to validate the work all the time because I work with schools, I work with corporations, I work with organizations and colleges and stuff. And so it's great to be able to see people change their thinking, and the light bulb goes off. And, and they say, you know what, I can actually do this.
Mm-hmm. I
can take this process, and I can follow these steps, and I can be a better person. I can take control of my life, eliminate the labels. I don't have to worry about race anymore. I don't have to worry about gender, because I understand now that everybody's equal because everyone has 24 hours. So the question is, what do you do with it? And I can organize my 24 hours around me, and I can empower myself, then I can help my family, and I can improve my social economic status. Wow.
And will they find the steps to that success in this book?
They'll certainly have a process they can follow. There's no question about it. Yeah, it's in this book. And it's in most of my writings, because without the internal piece, without the identity piece, nothing else really matters.
Mm-hmm. And this is such a huge question, though.
Yeah.
People struggle with identity and have story. This is at the very core of who we are. And so I'm just so interested as to, I don't know, I mean, can I pick up this book and when I'm done, have a better sense of who I am? But the work is on me to do this, right?
Yeah, I'm going to wake you up.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to wake people up and get them conscious of their ability to be better and to improve their habits. Show me your habits. I'll tell you exactly where you're going to be in 5 years. So it's based on you doing something besides just work. And you doing something besides just getting up in the morning, wash your face, brush your teeth. You get up in the morning, you get the kids out to school, you work all day, you come home in the afternoon, you spend time with the family, you come home, you fix dinner, you go to bed, maybe you dream. That's Monday. Do something besides just falling into the routine of doing the same thing over and over every single day. Work on you based on your ability to take information, read, learn, get the knowledge, use technology to be able to access information and make it relevant to your skill sets, to your life.
And you're never too old to start this process.
No, because you have a day. You have a day to make that day better.
Right.
So when you change your thinking tomorrow, your day can be better. Your thinking can be better. The way you feel can be better. Your habits can be better. And you got the whole world. And so when you make the world work for you as opposed to you working for the world, you change the way you learn. You change the way you control your life. You become self-directed. You become self-actualized. You begin that process. And that's what I'm teaching people, is to begin that process of self-actualization, which is the highest form of Maslow's, hierarchy of development. Is that you have to be able to self-actualize yourself when you get past security, when you get past, basic needs, food and water and all of that. The rest is, can I reach my potential?
And do we do this by setting goals? I mean, do I need a 5-year plan, or do I need literally a plan for tomorrow?
You need to change your thinking, number one. Reverse the way you learn. You need to be a learner. So you need information, and you need to apply that information to what you love. So sit down, write out everything that you love in your life, all your passions. That's your positive identity. And then build on that. And then you need to visualize who you want to be, so who you can become. And then you lay out a plan. So this is your life identity plan on what that looks like. What are your goals? How do you create the habits? What kind of team do you need? How do you overcome your obstacles? Okay. How do you take information? Where's the content coming from? How do you get that information, and how do you apply it and make it actionable to your daily habits, to your goal setting opportunity, to the life that you have in front of you. So all of that is a combination of empowerment of yourself. I'm talking about yourself, you. How do you empower you? Not your mother, not your father, not your sister, not your brother. You. How do you invest in you? What does that look like?
When we come back, we're going to continue talking about identity with Stedman Graham, author of Identity, Your Passport to Success. Stay with us. This is interesting stuff on Extra, Entertainment Extra.
You're listening to Entertainment Extra. Now more with movie critic Richard Crouse on In-Depth Radio, NewsTalk 1010.
Hey, movie lovers and citizens of Earth. Welcome back to Extra Entertainment Extra. I'm Richard Crouse. Joining me in studio, the author of Identity, Your Passport to Success. Stedman Graham joins me. Nice to see you.
Always a pleasure. My pleasure.
Now, there's so much noise out there in terms of what we see on the internet. There are shows on television that are telling us how to improve ourselves. How do you make your ideas stand out?
I'm so glad you used the word noise. There's so much noise. And, it really is about being clear and having clarity about what you should focus on. And focus is an amazing word, because whatever you focus on expands. So when you have a focus, you can focus on your passion, and you have a process that you can follow that will sustain you over a long period of time, and you can organize all your talents and all your skills and everything that you love and care about. To me, that is the opportunity. And when you know how to sustain that over a long period of time based on being clear, based on all of the stuff that you have to deal with, the 800 channels, 1,000 channels, the internet, all the stuff that takes your focus away. And it makes you think that's what's important.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you think that's who you are. So you're defined by your house and your money, your car, your title, your work, all those things that really are not who you are, who you really are. And you can go within your own soul and heart and find out what you really should be doing, find your natural abilities, and then self-actualize that. That's a gift.
How have people reacted to your seminars? You've spoken in Toronto recently, and the books, people must come to you and say, you've changed my life.
Well, I get that in letters, and I get that with people commenting. And again, this is not something that I just heard. I mean, I worked on this. I've been working on this all my life, trying to find equality and trying to figure out who I am. And I worked through it through my family. I grew up with 2 disabled brothers in my family, so I didn't have an easy childhood. You know, I had low self-esteem, lack of confidence, and
that does not show through today.
Well. I've worked on it, believe me, and in my life I worked in the prison system for 5 years. I played ball in Europe a number of years. I served in the U.S. Army, and I've been a business person for a long time. So all of those experiences and the travel experiences and all the experiences I had have led me to where I am right now. But there's still a constant reinventing yourself and going through the journey of discovering who you are and self-actualizing and all of that. So the process is the same for everybody is what I find. Right. And the equality is the same for everybody. The difference is you got 99% of the people who are followers who don't know it, 99% of the people who have a slave mentality and who are consumers as opposed to producers that don't realize that the power is within you, that you have the power and that you need to discover that. And it's not about what's on the outside. That's important. How the people define you on the outside. It's about your ability to work, as you mentioned. You worked hard to be able to define yourself on the inside, and then self-actualize yourself on the outside. So internal first, branding second, a career, financial, all those things are the result of knowing who you are.
I've always thought the words "the only constant is change" have been something that has stayed with me since I first read them. In whatever grade it was that I first read those words. And it's really true. The only constant, the only thing that is going to be, for me, a constant from day to day is that every day is going to be slightly different and present a different challenge.
The 21st century is changing. The technology is changing everything. We're going backwards. We're dealing with low wages and people's lack of control, and they're not reading, they're not developing, they're not learning, they're not experiencing anything, so most people will never be able to stay on the cutting edge of where the marketplace is going. We live in a global market. It's very competitive now. We're dealing with people from all over the world, people working at home. They're empowering themselves through technology. So a lot has changed. And so if you don't change with it, if you don't constantly work on yourself and constantly take control of yourself, we're living to be 100 now, and people are staying alive a long time, and you may not have a Social Security, you may not have a pension. Your job may be eliminated. So those things require us to be active, engaged, and also be relevant, which I think is the biggest word now is can you be relevant to the 21st century?
Stedman Graham has been my guest in studio. The book is called Identity, Your Passport to Success. It is a big bestseller. You do speaking engagements all over the place, and we can find you on
StedmanGraham.com.
And we can find you on StedmanGraham.com.
Thank you.
Stedman, thanks so much for coming. It's been a real pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.